they concreted up over the top of it, and they've got wrestling mats there. They got like 10 mats. All right, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. It's October 12th, 2023. And on my far left, Madam Clerk, Cindy Becker. On my far right, Jonathan Brazon, who's filling in as our county counselor now. And my immediate right is Commissioner Aaron Mays, who represents District 3, and Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. I am Bill Rippon, and I represent District 1. Madam Clerk, what is first?
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $5,164,826.97. Some of the highlights out of that voucher report under facilities management, and this is being paid with ARPA SLFRF funds, Cindy and Company Incorporated, totaling $1,610,897.90. This is for the courthouse renovation project. Under the allocations, we have $922,516.44. These are allocations made by Shawnee County to different social service entities within the community, as well as our contract with American Medical Response, the emergency responder for Shawnee County. Under the Federal Grant and Health Administration, All-Tech Communication, which totals $91,253, is for security equipment installed at the Health Department. And then under the sheriff, we have Gray Shift LLC for $86,788 for Gray Key software license, and Tyler Technologies totaling $36,733.20 for New World database and training. Finally, a highlight is under the Department of Corrections. This is for Armor, and it is health, and it is $356,666.66, and that's by contract. I do not have any questions regarding the vouchers. Would move for their approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move that we approve the correction orders.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next.
Item B, Bond Council number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2023-69 expressing the intent of the Board of County Commissioners of Shawnee County for the Shawnee County taxable bond, industrial revenue bonds in the estimated proposed principal amount of $7,500,000 for improvements in an area southeast of the intersection of Southwest 17th Street and Southwest Wanamaker Road, and approving the authorization and execution and delivery of a bond trust indenture, a bond lease, and lease agreement with EIG Wanamaker LLC or its signs.
Good morning, Bob Perry. Ben Bingham with Posnay Law Firm is attending the meeting via Zoom if you have any questions about this particular development. Equity Investment Group is an investment real estate development company which owns a large portion of that facility. And back in 19, we issued $13 million of taxable industrial revenue bonds, the proceeds from which were used to rehabilitate and improve the facilities. Those bonds were bought by EIG and they were paid by EIG. This is a second request for a second series of bonds, which may be issued in one or more series, depending upon what their needs are to do additional improvements to the facilities in order to accommodate some retail enterprises that they're talking with about leasing the facilities. This resolution will be delivered to the city clerk's office via the statutory requirement. A notice will be published next Monday indicating that the county intends to enter into a lease with an entity that does retail enterprises. And then a couple weeks into the month, beginning in November, you'll get another resolution in front of you which will authorize the actual issuance and delivery of the bonds once certain statutory timelines have been met.
Yes.
Bob, just as we're looking at this, and Mr. Perry, and looking at the area that it's at, and it says the southeast intersection of 17th Street and Southwest Wanamaker, that would be where the Hobby Lobby and former Bed Bath & Beyond is at. Is there a specific area that they're improving? And this is, I guess, not necessarily germane to the approval of it, but just out of curiosity as to what's being improved.
I've asked Ben that, and he doesn't have authority yet to identify specifically what the specific improvements are going to be and for which tenant. Once I know, I'll be glad to tell everybody, but, you know.
I can offer an answer to that question. Sorry, I'm legal counsel for the applicant, Ben Bigham, here on the resolution.
Okay.
Should we open the public hearing first, though, or?
We don't need a
don't.
public hearing
Okay,
until
okay.
we approve, I think.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Ben, you want to answer Kevin's question, please?
Yeah, thanks for the floor. Appreciate having us here and hearing this resolution. Bed Bath & Beyond, as we all know, went out of business, so there's a tenant replacing Bed Bath & Beyond, and it'll be for accommodating for, tenant work that they're improving their facility. And then also we're contemplating a phase 2, which would be a potential build out of the existing structure. And in that case, we would also be using the resolution amount of IRBs to fund that as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions?
No other questions? I'll move for approval.
I will-
Second.
Okay. Motion's been made by Commissioner May, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Ben.
Next item.
Item C, Weed Department, number 1, consider approval to award a bid to Nutrien Solutions for 180 gallons of Plainview SC herbicide at a cost of $51,840.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Landon, Director of the Weed Department. Plainview is a non-select herbicide that's used for other county entities that we do some work for, as well as on our roadsides ourselves. It's a complete vegetation removal chemical is what it is. We had 6 vendors bid on this chemical, and we've selected Nutrien Solutions as the most responsive and bidder for it. And so we're asking for approval. Be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions? I would move for approval.
Second?
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Next item.
Item D, Human Resources, number 1, consider approval of contract C 313-2023, amendment to the TRIA Health Medication Management Agreement to provide a secondary insurance card for high-deductible health plan participants.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis with Human Resources. The amendment to the TRIA contract before you provides a secondary insurance card for the high-deductible plan participants agreed to in TRIA's medication management services. This amendment provides employees with an incentive that reduces out-of-pocket expenses, known as the incentive program fee. For full transparency, the amendment has an effective date of January 1st, 2023. Our PPO plan bills this through Elixir. And since the HSA plan, or since the high deductible plan bills through Prime Therapeutics, there was a need for this amendment so that we could, excuse me, get the bills paid through the clerk's office. The total amount that would have been due since May is a total of $500 and affects less than 30 people. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have on this.
I have none.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Angela. Next item.
Item E, Facilities Management, number 1, consider approval to create a Facilities Management Superintendent position and advertise for same.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nelda Henning, Director of Facilities Management. This item and the following 2 items kind of all fall under the same need. As we had talked about during the budget season, I'd like to reorganize the facilities department. The first step in that reorganization was to create a superintendent position within facilities that would oversee the maintenance individuals going forward. That position would start out as a range 17, step 1 to step 5, which is $26.43 an hour to $29.18 an hour, with a cost of $82,616.31 per year, including benefits if we hire at the high end of the range. I would be happy to answer any questions.
You have a question?
No, I don't have any questions. I was just wondering if maybe we ought to do these as one item instead of three, but, because they are all related.
Yeah,
They're-
why don't we just read all,
Yeah,
ask
just-
Madam Clerk if she can read the other two.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Item E2, consider approval to close FM 1002/FM 1003, building supervisor positions within the Facilities Management Department. And E3, consider approval to create Maintenance Technician 2 within the Facilities Management Department.
In response to the second item, the facility, the FM 102 and the FM 103 are current open building supervisor positions, one of which has been open for over 2 years, and we have not been able to fill it. When we did get applicants, they really fell more into the Maintenance Tech 2 category than a building supervisor category, which then leads to the wanting to open a Maintenance Tech 2 position and advertise for such, with the hopes that we can get some of those candidates to reapply. That position starts out at a range 12 at $18.24 per hour for a total cost of $55,453.42 per year, including benefits. All of these have been ran through the Human Resource Department, and I want to thank Angela and her team to help me with this process, and Audit and Finance has reviewed these, and my budget will support these requests.
Good. Any other questions?
Nelda, I just want to thank you for doing this. I mean, I know I've talked with plenty of other department heads about looking at your org chart. If you've got positions that you're having a hard time filling, change them up. Get rid of those ones that are impossible to fill and find a different position that'll be easier to fill. So I'm happy that you were able to figure out a way to do this. I hope it works.
Me too.
So I'll move for approval of the three items, E, 1, 2, and 3.
I'll second all three items. Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you,
Thank you.
Nelda. Next item.
Item F, Health Department, number 1, request approval to award a bid for the RFQ number 031-23 and negotiate a contract with Knox Signs and Graphics for the installation of 2 marquee signs to be placed at both Health Department locations, 2600 Southwest East Circle Drive and 2115 Southwest 10th Avenue, at an approximate cost of $50,000. Funding will come from an ARPA SLFRF.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director of the Health Department. As the clerk read, we are ready to move forward and award the bid for the marquee signs to Knox Signs and Graphics. And with your approval, we would work with them to negotiate a contract to come back to you. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
So these are programmable signs that you can
Correct. There'll be
change?
programmable LED signs at both of our locations.
Okay. And you program them from separate locations in, or? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions?
Nope.
All right.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks, Teresa. Next item.
Item G, Parks and Recreation, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C 316-2023, a TARC amendment to contract C 292-2022, requesting the annual 2023 Winter Wonderland event be held at the Lake Shawnee Campground. TARC will provide compensation of $12,500 for deposit into the campground revolving fund by January 1 of 2024.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Department. The Winter Wonderland program's been held out at Lake Shawnee since 1998. It is a wonderful partnership between us and TARC. As the clerk mentioned, a little over $12,500 will go into our campground revolving fund. So 90% of the proceeds go back to TARC, where they can really make a pretty significant impact on the community and the families that they serve. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I just think it's a great event. It's very good for TARC, so.
It's a factually accurate memo. As the story goes, when it first started, Mr. Randy Luby was out there with the news crew, and he said there's millions of lights.
I know.
And he realized there were not millions of lights. Now there are millions of lights.
Yeah.
So it's a great event and a good cause, and so encourage everyone to go and participate. I would be happy to move to approve.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item G2, approval requested on the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks Recreational Trails Program grant agreement to proceed with the Levee Trail project. The project includes resurfacing the trail and installation of trail access gates. Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks will obligate up to $102,468, which is 80% for this project. Shawnee County funds are committed are $25,617, which is 20%. And provided through the Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Building Maintenance Fund. The department further requests approval to select a contractor for services through the RFP process.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Department. So yes, on June 16th, we were notified that we did receive this Recreation Trails surfacing grant. And what we're asking for is permission to accept that grant and then also go out for an RFP to select a vendor to do the work. Just a little bit about the project. We'll put down an 1.5 inch of ag lime screening on the top of the trail surface, the Levee Trail, which it'll become the Levee Trail. This would start at Tyler Street, just west of the Great Overland Station, right about in that area, and then go out to Highway 75. So I think it'll be a great addition to our trail system, and we're excited about it. Be happy to answer any questions.
This week, I've had a number of meetings with the riverfront development, and
Yeah.
I don't know how many times trails were brought up, and this is actually kind of a phase of that.
Correct.
And it'll be good to get people down along the river. It's pretty scenic along there, and of course, the goal is to have a trail from somewhere near the Great Overland Station all the way out to Sunflower Soccer, which would be a nice addition. I think it's close to 3 miles.
I think so.
Pretty close, but anyway, it's a long time coming.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
had that on the trail master plan since year 2000.
Check that one off.
But, yeah, we can check that one off. All right, well, any other questions or comments?
Tim, what's the access to this going to be like? Are there steps going up the levee or anything like that? that's being
Yeah,
added?
I think that will be the case, that, and we will be partnering in a way with the city of Topeka, and I think we'll be responsible essentially for the top of the levee, and they'll be responsible really for everything other than that. So when you look at that Tyler Street in particular, when you look at that area, there's a little bit of navigation that you have to do to get up on the trail, but there are some access points already that have been in place that I think Commissioner Cook may have actually been involved in a number of years ago. And, but yeah, we will make sure that there's ways that folks can get up on that Levee Trail.
Okay, appreciate it, thanks.
Oh, I said Commissioner Cook. Commissioner Rippon was involved in that earlier.
Well, I was at the levee reconstruction as well, and we've been working with this. This has been a long-term project, and when we replaced the Willard Bridge, we added a trail component to the Willard Bridge with the plan that ultimately Parks and Rec will extend the trail system all the way out to the city of Willard. And that way, people would be able to bike from Topeka to Silver Lake, Rossville,
Right.
Willard, and not be on Highway 24. So the levee system's been a long-term plan.
Yeah. Yeah, what you're talking about there was mentioned in one of those meetings just this week that Commissioner Rippon and I were in. So, yeah, this is the first step.
All right, very good. All right, well, I will move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item G3, consider request to solicit bids for necessary turf replacement at Parish Family Field at the Bettis Family Sports Complex. The project will be funded by ARPA SLFRF funds.
Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Department. So we are asking to go out for an RFP to replace the aging turf at the Parish Family Field at Bettis. We've also referred to this as the Pony Field in the past. We think that the estimated budget for this would be around $250,000. And we're looking forward to getting this done and trying to get it done before we start play this coming spring. So be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the baseball coaches?
I'll go back to, I hope that we can get a taller type of turf past the infield.
Yeah, we will definitely look into that.
Sit like a true baseball coach. Any other questions? If not, I will move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. That was in stereo.
Yeah.
Next item.
Item G4, consider authorization and execution of contract C317-2023, the MCP build agreement for the design build construction fee with a guaranteed maximum price yet to be determined. Their proposed budget to be for this project is $4 million and set to be funded by the issuance of capital project bonds. Parks and Recreation will return to the Board of County Commissioners for approval to complete the project at the guaranteed maximum price.
Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. So you did give us permission to award the bid to MCP Build. We have been meeting, but essentially what we're asking for today is to sign the initial agreement with them so that we can start paying them for some of the services that they've already provided. And again, as the clerk mentioned, we will be back down here at a later date to talk about the guaranteed maximum price for the project. That is really what we're meeting about now, is design and trying to come up with that guaranteed maximum price. So be happy to answer any questions.
Tim, do you see some possibilities of some naming rights and things like that where we could?
Yeah, I think that we have talked about that. There's a lot of things that, quite honestly, that we'd like to see in this project, and I don't think that we'll be able to get all of those things unless we can maybe stretch our dollars by doing some of those sorts of things, naming rights and such.
All right. Yes.
So, Tim, you made a comment that, so we're approving this GMP today, but then you're going to come back for another?
We're not actually approving the guaranteed maximum price today. All we're doing is signing the initial agreement with MCP Build. You gave us permission to award them the bid, so we've been working with them, but we haven't signed a contract yet.
Okay, I get it now, sorry.
So, no, I had
for
the
the
same
clarification.
questions, so.
Any other questions?
No, I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner May, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Next item.
Item H, Commission Number 1, Commissioner May is nominating Nancy Nelson to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board to fill a vacated position.
So, Casey Clark, my previous nominee to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, got his dream job and moved out of Topeka. And so I had a vacancy open up, and I was referred to Nancy Nelson, who's really been active in a lot of our Parks and Rec communities right now with trails and with pickleball and all sorts of other stuff. And so she's got a lot of experience, and so I'd like to nominate Nancy to the advisory board.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner May, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Motion, those opposed? Motion carries 3-0. How could it be a dream job if it's not in Topeka?
So he was on the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. He's very active in our bicycle community with the BMX and everything else. And he got a job with Trek Bicycles in Colorado.
That
So
would be fun, yeah. All right, we'll allow that. Next,
Item 5, public comment.
I don't have anyone signed up to speak, but if there's anyone from the public who would wish to speak at this time, come forward. Seeing none, next item.
Item 6, administrative communications.
Good morning, Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. I would just like to publicly announce my retirement at the end of the year. I would, with your blessing, like to post this position and get this transition period started. I have thoroughly enjoyed working for the county, and as I've talked to all of you individually, this isn't a surprise, but I'm looking forward to spending time with family, and as we all know, grandkids grow up fast. So county is a great place to work, and I would, encourage anyone to look for employment here. The Audit Finance has a great team, Administrative Services has a great team, so the county is in good hands, but would like to get this process started.
Well, we thank you for all your years of service and dedication to this government. And, we've lived through how many audits, and we always had good reports. And not only did you do finance, but you were overseeing a lot of other departments. I don't think a lot of people know that, but this would be some big shoes to fill.
Ms. Griner was the first department head that I hired as a commissioner, so she's been with us for more than 10 years. And so we came in through some very difficult financial times. 11 years ago, our finances looked a lot different than they do now as we were coming out of a recession. There was a lot of work to do, a lot of hard decisions to make. Betty, thank you for your leadership and guidance, and also being able to tell us when to not spend money. And that's a big part of it.
I think I'm known for that by the departments.
yeah, Betty, you've tempered a lot of my bad ideas over the years. So, I'm not ready to say goodbye yet. We've still got you for a few more months.
That's right.
I'll be here
That's
till
right.
the end of the year.
Okay, all right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Kurt, you're up.
Hard act to follow, but I just wanted to announce to the commission and the public, locals probably already know, but we have completed another bridge project, and bear with me just a second. Last Thursday, Northwest 66th over Indian Creek opened to public traffic. I want to thank our contractor, King, KDOT, for participating financially in this project, Finney and Turnipseed for doing design and construction inspection. The project turned out great, and very dramatic change in the facility, but just wanted to announce that to the public.
Is this a wider bridge than the
Wider
previous?
bridge,
Looks like it
should
carries-
last 100 years, 75, 100 years, and it looks great, and I think hopefully the public, local public will enjoy it, if you can enjoy a bridge.
If we ask the audit finance question, how do we come in on finances?
Well, this is a KDOT letting, KDOT administered, so we're going to have to wait a little bit until they cross their Ts and dot their Is, and then once we know what our portion of the project, the final portion of the project will be, my pretty face will be before you with the usual final change order.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
It's a beautiful bridge, Kurt.
Yeah.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis with Human Resources. think Stephanie told me I can open this. Well, it opened to open enrollment for Shawnee County first. Just want to let everyone know that open enrollment will start next week. An email will go out today that has all the information you will need for open enrollment. It will have the benefits guide and encourage you to get on starting next Sunday to enroll. New this year, everyone who attends an open enrollment meeting will be put in a drawing to win a $15 gift card at each meeting. Our open enrollment dates are as follows: Monday the 16th from 1 to 3 at Reynolds Lodge, Tuesday the 17th from 10 to 11, and then 1 to 2 at the Adult Detention Center. On Wednesday, October 18th here at the Shawnee County Administrative Building down in the IT conference room in the basement. Thursday the 19th at the North Annex, the main conference room, and Friday, October 20th from 9 to 10 and 1 to 4 at the Health Department and the Law Enforcement Center. We will have COVID and flu shots available thanks to the Health Department, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have on that.
Yeah, you're going to be at our next, our work session Monday and probably go into this a little more detail.
We will. What you'll see on Monday, though, is a work session, and Willis Towers Watson will present and give you an overview of all of our benefits.
Okay.
We can
Very
talk a
good.
little more about open enrollment too. I'd also just like to remind everyone that not only are we having Shawnee County open enrollment, but Capers has its optional life open enrollment at this time as well. And an email has already gone out on that. If you don't want to change anything with your Capers optional life, you don't have to do anything, but if you'd like to increase the benefit or add a spouse or child, now's the time to do that through October 31st. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. So I'm really excited to announce that as of last night around 7 o'clock in Dallas, Texas, at the National Recreation and Parks Association Conference, we were officially notified that we have achieved reaccreditation through the CAPRA accreditation process. So we did know this was happening. That's one of the reasons we're not at conferences, that they gave us a heads up that we were good and that we were going to be okay. But nonetheless, it's really in my mind just a tremendous accomplishment for the department. There's only 5, counting us, departments in the state of Kansas that are accredited. That's Johnson County, the city of Shawnee, Wichita, and then Fort Riley, and then us are the only ones. And it's not for lack of trying. I mean, there are other departments across the state that have tried to do it and have been unsuccessful. So I think the grand total across the state or across the country, when we got accredited, which I can't take credit for, that happened right before I came here, there was only less than 2% across the country were accredited. And I know there's been several since, but I'm sure it's not over 5% total. So anyway, congratulations to our staff. They put a lot of work into it, and I think maintaining the accreditation really says to everybody that we are trying to follow the best practices and that we really strive to be the best we can be. So
That's awesome.
Tim,
Very good.
congratulations to you.
Yep.
and the department.
Congratulations.
thank you.
Thank your staff.
We'll do it.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Andrew Howell, Shawnee County Election Commissioner. Just a quick reminder about upcoming election dates and times for yourselves and voters and people across the county. We do have a city and school election going on right now. The 17th will be the last day to register. So if you want to register before that election, keep in mind next week, the 17th, will be the close of registration. Advanced ballots, for those that have requested an advanced ballot, those will be going out of the office on the 18th next week. And then finally, just a reminder, early voting in the option from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. begins October the 23rd and continues on each weekday for the next 2 weeks. So we're coming into the election season where voters can actually use any one of the 3 options. They can request a mail ballot, they can vote at the office early, we do have those extended hours, or they can vote at their polling place on election day. So just a reminder about that. happy to answer any questions.
I'll plan on voting on Election Day with Miss Kendall checking my ID to make sure I'm still me.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Mays?
Yeah, so, earlier we did the industrial revenue bonds for the shopping center at 17th and Wanamaker. In doing some research on that, I realized that it's been a long time since we've looked at any of those, kind of guidelines. And so I would say that it's probably time that we maybe dust off that, those resolutions and look at them and see if they still fit what we're trying to accomplish in Shawnee County. And so I would ask that we maybe do that during the work session, just to kind of get a review and go over some of those things, and just incentives in general, make sure that they're up to modern standards. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
I understand that, Mr. Chairman, you've already reached out to the city manager and the mayor to try to coordinate setting up a joint meeting with the city and the county to address issues that are vital importance, the unsheltered, the future of different projects that we have in common. And so I just want to thank you for doing that and look forward to that joint meeting.
I had a meeting yesterday with the mayor, and we discussed a lot of these issues at length yesterday, and it was a good meeting, and hopefully we can have more of those. But, thank you. I have nothing to add. Madam Clerk, what's next?
Item 7, executive session.
We have no need for executive session, so we're adjourned.
Go Chiefs.
Yes, go